Pedagogy Enhancement Program, an initiative of Kriti Prakashan Private Limited. Kriti Prakashan Private Limited is a Lucknow-based publishing company which began its operations in the year 2000. Having firm faith in its motto, shaping nations through education, the company has spread its wings of knowledge pan India and abroad during its journey of 21 glorious years. Apart from publishing quality content for children, our vision statement also includes updation of teachers and educators by empowering them through capacity building trainings and workshops twice a year. Our initiative Urja, Pedagogy Enhancement Program, focuses on empowering educators in teaching pedagogies in alignment with National Education Policy 2020, Learning Outcomes by NCERT, and Bloom's Taxonomy. We are glad to share that our Urja training series for the session 2021-22 had already started on 15 July 2021 and will continue till 7th of August, including early childhood care and education as well. Now, National Education Policy 2020 lays special emphasis on digital literacy and computational thinking. And today we have a capacity building workshop on pedagogy of teaching computers to primary level students, which is now foundational stage and preparatory stage as per NEP 2020. I strongly believe that if you want your students to learn, then everyone in the school system must continue to learn. And today we have with us Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra as a resource person for the day. Dr. Dheeraj Mehrotra is an educational innovator, author, a Limca book record holder for developing maximum apps, a National Teacher Awardee awarded by our late President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's engaged in teaching for the last 2 decades as a school teacher, principal, teacher trainer, academic evangelist, and a school auditor. He is also a TEDx speaker and a Udemy premium instructor. We welcome you on board, sir, and we look forward for a great sharing of your experiences and knowledge with all our participants. Over to you, Dr. Dheeraj.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Kriti Prakashan and the DigiNurture, the Urja team, for inviting me for this particular session. And I'm looking forward to, sharing the expertise to be a better teacher, uh, an innovative teacher, and a creative teacher, particularly on ground of teaching computers. Well, for sure, learning should be a priority. No mention it is for the teachers or for the students. The more we learn, the more we earn in terms of honor, recognition, and pride. And I'm here today to encapsulate that learning with this capacity building workshop for teachers, the pedagogy for teaching, the computer science, the IT, whatever we call it, and now out of the blue, it has been reframed as, some form, some way, it is coding as well. So, of course, everybody will, get convinced with the very fact that programming is more like coding, and we tend to reflect on the very idea of manipulating learning as a priority. Well, I explored this very connect with the very notion of how best we are going to be imparting learning. And that segment goes with the introduction of the icebreaker. And I want everyone, if you are there around, can go to menti.com and type this out about the term hardware and software, which is one of the common elements we need to discuss in the classroom where we tend to reflect. So the menti.com is the website. You can go just in case you have some other device or maybe through this device, and you can use the code 776620. And then finally, we'll take the term and we'll analyze what the result is. You have a limit of 25 characters and 4 options. So you can just write about what you think about hardware and what you think about software. And let's see what the points are and what the comments are. I'll be happy to share that screen as well after a minute. So just I want that everyone should go to menti.com and in fact type the numbers. It is listed on the screen. You go to menti.com and type out the code 776620, and then you'll be given 4 options to answer this, and looking forward, of course. Now, my definition would be that hardware is a mind or software is a mind. What you would define? As per me, hardware is the brain and software is the mind. What we can see is the hardware, of course, and what we can't see is the software. Now, this definition talks about, let me check if any one of you have given that. So I'll just go to that screen and share that screen as well on the move and looking forward to that spectrum. The idea is to roll out that learning with the very preference of managing the learning and making it a defined approach. So that approach talks about the very priority. Yes, that's only data, what we can hold, and looking forward to that learning also defines the very attribute. Now, mind or the software, I said software is the set of instructions, and hardware refer to the parts of the computer. So obviously, we could not track to all your inputs. Still, I'm waiting just in case you are able to go to menti.com and give your data there, give your input there, and looking forward to that aspect, right? The idea is to just try to reflect how you can go to menti.com. Just go to your browser, menti.com, and type the code 776620. Okay. So, okay, right. So, looking forward to this particular scenario, I believe that not much. Yeah, we have software, other programs, and that's the data, right? Okay, so that's good. Thank you very much. And let me now come back to my screen to explore the connect and proceed ahead with the reference of the attribute we need to look forward to. The idea is to actually connect with the audience about the very preface. You can do that in your classroom as well. And the very incentive is how best I'm going to attribute that learning with the very notion of connecting with my students in the classroom. So this was just a little exercise. Even you can explore it, you can define it, you can make sure about how the preparedness is done in your classroom and how you are prepared with your lesson plan in the class. Right. So now comes the priority of what and why of coding or computer programming or computer applications. There are various terms which are defined, particularly of teaching computers. We tend to reflect on the idea about coding, about computer programming, about computer science, about teaching computer applications, and all comes to the very versatile approach of how best are you with the march of time to integrate any form of teaching or learning. We start our classrooms with the objectives, with of course the framework, the relevance of studying the subject. We have various books in the market, and every book comes with a defined upgrade, and we as educators and teachers need to look forward to googling the terms and define it for our preparedness. As teachers came out to be overnight educators through online, similarly you need to be on the go, on the move, that what is the best being offered. And also there are various boards which have defined the ICT syllabus, on the move. We started with logo long time back, and then of course the programming languages, the history of computers, and then the fundamentals, then even flow charting, and we also explored Boolean algebra to a little framework for the primary schools, and also the Scratch language, and then at times about a little bit mention about the object oriented programming language as well, like what and why. So the relevance of the subject of taught has to be understood first by you, because at times majorly 90% of the syllabus what we are teaching is what we did not cover as our content delivery in our years of learning. Like if I say that I did my computer course way back, around 20 years back, 25 years back, in fact, and then today what I'm teaching and I'm authoring was never existed in that time. I remember I was doing programming of Fortran basic COBOL and trying to rewrite while I was teaching ISC that time, and that was the notion that we used to even have basic programming, COBOL programming in class 4th, 5th, 6th. So I, apart from teaching them what is computer, of course, we need to also define and analyze that how and what and why of computer is all about. So that fragrance also starts with one encapsulation, one understanding of the thought, and that is teaching is hard work, not hard work, not smart work. So that as a teacher, I believe one has to learn with the march of time of what attribute we are going to be delivering as a part of learning, right? So I'm really excited looking at people here, all from the very spectrum. And I take this pleasure to welcome all our wonderful people who have joined us on YouTube, whether it's uh, I think Katha Pita, and then Sandhya Shukla, and then we have Alok Ranjan, we have Mosmita, then we have Crazy Ankit. I don't know why you're crazy, but of course, Ankit, Lalita, then Sajid, Anjali, yeah, of course, Priyanka, Ananda, then we have Shweta. So happy to have you all. Thank you very much, and your questions will be, happily answered. Sonali and Arpita, yeah, and we have Sabita Shaba Khan. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Good morning, good morning. Looking forward to the programming skills, the logic skills, the creativity. Now, when I'm talking about teaching computer science, I need to be very clear of the fact that how best I'm going to, integrate that learning scenario in my classroom. To what aspect I'm going to deliver that very perfection, the research backed strategies for teaching the primary kids. Now that comes to like we start with teaching them what is computer. Now defining a computer for class 1 or 2 child, then to defining for class 5th and 6th children, will vary, and that will actually require your creativity, right? And for sure, the research backed strategies define the support for the student understanding with visual examples. Now, there are wonderful platforms we need to look forward while teaching computers as well, encouraging them, decoding the code, leveraging the peer to peer support, creating the real world relevance for anything and everything we do. Like we start with programming skills, telling them, or making a flow chart how to prepare a cup of tea. So, of course, these things are so unique and creative that they look forward to. Then the leverage, the peer to peer support, the real life collaboration, and with a positive mindset is should be the spectrum of learning. Well, as we know, and of course we need to even tell this to our parents and the dear students, that we as educators need to reflect on the learning of through technology, and the children should be well at crafting the defined approach of learning. And for that reason, we, the educators, need to help unleash our child's creativity and enable a mindset shift from being consumers of technology to its creators. And for that reason, of course, programming is an adventure, and we need to even motivate them for programming skills, for answering in the classroom through different platforms. For sure, we look forward to the programming in early years. The children need to be encapsulated, need to be creative, need to be motivated, need to be, given that spectrum of how best they can come out with their own ideas. Now, when I'm talking about introducing computer science or computer applications or information technology, or particularly, teaching them about coding, for sure we need to define the programs as set of instructions as simple as possible. Our classes should be as simple as possible, whether we are teaching an MS Word or Excel or PowerPoint, or for any reason we are telling them about an example platform like Canva, canva.com. So we need to be more practical by teaching and learning. Make sure that you explore the errors with them, what type of an error they might encounter, so that when they encounter that, you are able to teach them, oh, this is what my teacher told me, that when I'm going to click this might come. Then of course we are going to be showcasing that relevance of learning. Dear teachers, coding, as we know, helps children to be creative, and of course they come with different concerns. While in scratch programming also, they need to join with different commands and instructions available. It challenges in a big way, to think creative and being persuasive on the notion. Now, the challenge which we feel, as teachers, is that there are changes of exploring, and then changes on the very mode of spectrum learning, and there may be compatibility also, because children are using many devices these days. So that compatibility, some version problems, so these things you need to be prepared with the march of time. And looking forward, of course, coding is the new literacy, the computer programming is the new literacy. And today I shall be also discussing some of the relevant areas where every teacher should be cleared about what is and what. That is the reasoning part. The child gets improved of his reasoning and problem solving skills with the help of coding, of course. And some of the coding skills which, as teachers, we should be knowing and exploring refer to the word processing skills, of course, the spreadsheet skills, with the latest version, of course. Now, when we're talking about Office, when you're talking about Windows, you can't be telling the children, no, I'm using 7, I'm using 95, I'm using this, I'm using that, because they look forward to the advanced versions. And we as teachers also need to look forward. So always there is a view that you can go to YouTube and find out the tutorial. Just a little 5 minutes video will help you get to know about it. And then of course the database management, the electronic presentation, the internet navigation. There are various, and as teachers, you should also know that there are many more search engines apart from Google, right? So you should also tell them, if, about plan A, plan B, plan C, and how even, skills like searching on the internet. And you need to go beyond the book. It should not be that you're limited to only chapter wise, because children love, if you tell them something apart from the book. So that is something like internet navigation, and then also the email integration, the management of the email, the networking skills, the touch typing. Now, the touch typing is so very important these days as a part of your learning, and teaching should also be explored in a big way. Also, when I'm talking about one of the most important skills, which talks about the very spectrum, also turns to the very notion of how I'm going to be asking my children to be creative as far as the coding is concerned. So of course, each and every platform we are delivering through, comes out with some creative notion, and they come out with wonderful deliberation at times in terms of acting and coming together, doing in a creative way. You have platforms like that of Padlet, Mentimeter, as I have showed. Then you have Testmos, then you have Kahoot. So that reflection goes as an idea. Not only you are teaching them computer applications, but you're also teaching them how they should cater to the use of technology in their lives. So at the time when all roads lead to a technology led future, it is important that we equip ourselves with coding skills. So coding skills, of course, different schools, they start coding at different levels. Now here, coding, don't get confused, it's nothing special. It is exactly as that what we call in as programming. So that's really great. And then the approaches and the strategy and the pedagogy we need to define and have a look at during the teaching also comes out of a great reputation. For that reason, I request everybody to also come up as a teacher. You should be knowing about this very platform, that is the canva.com. The canva.com is a standalone platform for you to be a wonderful designer, a wonderful creator for yourself. And also it reflects on the identity of how best you can dwell. Canva for Education makes it easy to create, collaborate, and communicate in the classroom and beyond. So, next time after this session, please go to canva.com and see for yourself what all you can do, whether it is planning a lesson or it is designing or even making a presentation for your children. And then of course that smartness and the uniqueness is created out of how you're going to be engaging your students in this very way, right? So this canva.com is available free of cost. It's a cloud based platform, and which allows the teachers, in a big way, to explore learning. And the children are also excited when they work on this platform. And it comes, the beauty is that you don't need to download or store it in your hard disk. It is in a big way available online free of cost with a user ID and password. You can even store the data on the cloud itself, and that's defined. Then we have competency via flow charting and algorithms. Now while you're teaching them, because many availability gets composed of teaching them smartness, teaching them creative notion, is through a combination of the flow chart and the algorithms. So that way, I think you need to practice them. Not only this, you can even add on the fishbone diagrams and even milestone charts, and also keeping the fact that how best they do it in groups is through mind maps, as to understand the concept better. Also on the view is when we talk about computer programming, at what level should we start teaching them computer programming? So that of course when we try navigating, they all are excited about the use of the statements, commands, operators, and functions. So we need to look forward to how best we are going to be defining those statements, commands, operators, and functions through the process which is going to be activated. They can even build executable programs, and then they can run it on any platform. Now these days, since you're working from home as of now, learning from home, they can very well go to various platforms where they can execute their programs without even downloading the compiler or the interpreter. There are various platforms, programminghub.com or any programming level, where you can go and compile and execute any program in any language online, and then you can share the screen and they can understand and how they can do it on their own. So that is the best way you can even teach programming and coding to your children without any concern of asking them to come to lab and things like that. Also, they can share the screen, the sequence, the data types, the loops. Everything becomes so very easy when you explain them, when you show them their screen. And teaching computer science it becomes so at ease now, particularly on the move, in this very platform of Corona days. Then, for sure, there are some points which need to be told right from class 1, 2, 3, to ask them about different charts, the flow charting, the decision making symbols, the data structures, and little bit about the classes, objects, and the functions can be defined for class 3, 4, 5. Little bit, an idea about what and how about programming skills, and that goes with whatever the course syllabus you are following, whatever books you are following. The learning is intercepted with the way you impart knowledge to them, right? And that for a reason you need to upgrade the standard of your programming delivery post corona, changing your pedagogies as well, teaching them about design thinking, the framework, and the artificial intelligence. And just yesterday, I think Prime Minister inaugurated that artificial intelligence course 3 4 days back. It was made free for all the teachers, in fact for everybody, and that's available on the CBSE website. So I would request all of you, it's a 4-hour course, free of cost, and when you qualify, I think 70% of the quiz, you get your certificate as well. So please execute your knowledge there, learn for 4 hours. It's You can do it at your pace, and just go or Google the free AI course, and that helps you understand the concept as well as you gather your certificate. So just go to the CPSC website and reflect on the idea about exploring that course. It's free of cost. Then the very framework is Internet of uh, things. When we call about IoT, it is Internet of things, like what way the internet is helping around. So one chapter is always there in any of your classes, whether it's class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about the applications of computers. And for that reason, you need to be defining. There is no special mention of a particular application, because by the time the books are published, we do have many applications evolved with the march of time. So you need to make it more lively in your classroom by explaining the terms like IoT and other initiatives like that of cryptocurrencies, or maybe data handling, the cloud computing, and other things. So children are always excited about knowing new terms, and we also learn new terms with the march of time, and it has become a household word. In fact, like hotspot or podcasting, these are small things which relate to IT, but the children are knowing it, very patiently on the move. Then for sure, what will your child do with creative gaming? Because when we talk about gamology or gamification in education these days, the technology is implementing a bigger role here. So of course they can create advanced games, the real life projects, through various websites, and I will try sharing few of them, how your children can be imparted ICT skills with the online portals in the best of the possible ways. What every kid in this world to be excited about, the many possibilities coding can unlock for themselves, for their communities, and for their societies. That's what Sundar Pichai says. And for sure, visual programming is also one of the forms of deliberation we have been looking forward on the move. Then we have what will your child explore with the very test code of 75% and higher in logic or abstract thinking. Coding balances the left and the right brain, convergent and divergent thinking, to enable peak creative expressions. And for that sure reason, we need to look forward that how best we are going to be looking at our children's curiosity to match the demands of learning computers. They're not very happy doing Word or MS Excel or preparing a slide. They are excited to do coding, programming skills, defining a particular object, moving the objects on the screen, and exploring and running and executing their work. So I think we need to also look forward to the very notion of exploring that identity as well. Now, of course, programming increases logical skills by 60%, enhances problem solving skills. It also boosts the creativity and computational thinking skills. So what as educators we need to do is we need to look forward that how best we are going to be defining the commands, the statements, the very approach of the algorithms. And even there are cases where we have defined approach of teaching not only coding but also developing apps. So for that reason, I'll mention a special website which is appgeezer.com, and you can even go to that website and check out that how and what way you can help your children develop apps exactly at the class 5th, 6th, 7th. So they are exciting measures and platforms which talks about better things at the approach. Then of course how and what way you should plan your lesson, the curriculum plan. And as a matter of fact, you must be understanding the very notion that the preparation of your online lesson plan and your offline lesson plan differs a lot. And for that reason we need to look forward to imparting some of the practicals approach, as I mentioned, some of the websites which allow you to do your practical programming, execution of your programs, and even coding of the programs in a big way. The gamification in learning via artificial intelligence, of course, AI, augmented reality, AR, and the implementation of these things by the kids, come out of a great use these days. And let me tell you, being innovative is a priority for all of us. And so, with our teachers, also those who are watching, I want to have a little understanding of you people, that how you people should reflect augmented reality, which is a combination of real scene as observed by the user and a virtual scene created by the computer. So the scenes are augmented to appear one. And for that reason, I am happy to share that the understanding goes that augmented reality is a combination of the real world and the virtual rail, virtual layer, the virtual reality, virtual world, and the real inputs. So that understanding comes with three probabilities: the combination of the real and the virtual objects, the interactive in real time, of course, and the registers. So I'll make you people understand, and of course, with the result of that, everybody will be able to bring out that innovation and creativity in the classroom through this capsule. Now you can see this is my hand with a crow on it, and this is another character being brought forward on the keyboard, right? So as you can see here, the knowledge defines an effective way to enable learners to access the content. A QR code is a simply shortcut to URL, and that defines. So how it is being done is, I'll tell you, and you can even do it with an experiential learning using merge cubes. Now, merge cube, let me tell you very frankly, is a combination. If you can see here, yeah, it is a combinational cube with so much of QR codes defined there. It's a merge cube, and what you do is you take a printout of it and hold it and fold it in terms of a cube, and then with the help of your mobile phone you can scan the ends of the cube, and once you scan you'll feel like that your videos will play relatively. So I will also make sure that this is the cube, which is a holographic cube for augmented reality, made of semi-rigid black silver rubber. But in this case, it's a page, it's a paper, right? Which I made it in the form lightweight and comfortable to hold even for a child. If combined with special apps, it allows you to view and give life to the 3D objects in augmented reality using the device's camera and immersing the 3D object in the real environment. Objects can be created with simple Paint 3D and then shared via 6-character code. So when you check on this, of course, you will be happy. And this is what exactly it is. The merge cube is described by its developer, the hologram you hold in your hand as this, right? And then it's a foam cube with different sides on each side. When held in front of your device's camera while using a variety of merge cube apps, the cube is transformed into digital 3D object on your screen, on your mobile screen. It will play when you scan, and I'll show that how you do that also, right? And the children can really enjoy. They can do it with their own devices, they can do it with their ideas, they can do it with their tab, they can do it with their computers, and so many formats with all their devices they can make use of. See, this is when you just Google merge cube printable PDF. Just Google merge cube, merge cube printed printable PDF, right? And then you will get this particular thing. This is the image I clicked. The many images you'll get. Merge cube printable PDF, and then the screen on the right hand side you can see it is a merge paper cube. So what I've done is I've taken a printout, I've cut the parts as it is, and then I've folded it in the form of, you know, the screen. And then when I'm able to do it, visit mergever.com/shop to purchase the merge cube, or for apps and games you can visit www.mergecube.com. There you can download your apps, and the children can, you know, even teachers and children can be excited to explore it on the move, right? So this is the notion which I wanted to explore with the help of the merge cube. It's very interesting, very innovative, and how it comes out to be is I'll just showcase it here. Now friends, this is my cube, and I'm able to rotate it here. I have made it, and now I'll be utilizing it as a part of my augmented module. And this merge cube is described, as you know, by its developer as the hologram you hold in your hand. It is a foam cube with different designs on each side. When held in front of your device's camera while using a variety of merge cube apps, right? So we are able to get to the digital 3D objects and the screens. So we can move and rotate the cube in your hand to see the things from different angles, and it's truly an amazing experience. So we shall try doing it using one of our apps, and we'll try exploring it. Okay, so now I tend to explore it. I'll show the different next video where I'm using my mobile camera and trying to read. So this is the magic cube over here, and I'm able to scan it, and when I bring my phone along with this software, so the software is aligned there. I close it, I open it. This is the part. So Mr. Body is one of the applications here, a part of that software which I've got it loaded, and here it is able to scan. So the name of the app is Explorer. I click it here, it says Explorer Merge, welcome to Merge Explorer, and I'm able to execute it, load it, and the cube is in front of me, you can see, and now it's ready for execution. So the objective is there are three options here: start free trial, restore purchase, and skip. So skip is not that visible, but we have to press it. And here we have, say for example, the solar system explorer. So we'll just click on the solar system, and it says about galactic explorer beside the sun and the planet. So we have the first activity here. We'll just
in this experience, tap on individual planets to expand them and see more information. Take your time to explore. Read the pop-up information panels about all the objects you come across.
Okay.
How many moons can you find?
So for 6 to 8, we can have some activity, and then at the same time, we just go back to, check on this. It says when I hold it in my hand, see that the square goes moving, and these are all the data. I hold this cube in my hand and I'm having the fun of augmented reality. You can see how innovative it is, how innovative, right? So I'm able to hold it in my hand. It has all the pictures, it has the definition, talks about the sun, and when it gives you the value of the sun, and I'm able to click on to get to know more about the distance, the relation period, rotation period, and other things. And then when I rotate on ground, I get to more information. Then I move again back to my another spectrum: Mr. Body, A Frog's Life, Water and Weather, the Food Web, the Rock History of Earth. For example, there's an activity here, so we'll just go to that activity, the rock history, and I have the cube in hand. So I'm able to, understand about the water rock, about the million years old and the things. So this is about the initiation and how augmented reality can explore in the classroom as well. So these are the various activities, the various layers of the rock you can see. So we get an image on this. So this is around the whole structure. So hope you guys enjoy it, explore it, and get your children feel that wow experience in the classroom.
Okay,
Right?
so this was augmented reality, the Merge Cube application, which talks
The Merge Cube
about
offers
this.
a unique way to interact with augmented reality content. 3D content is linked to the cube and then can be viewed either on the phone or using the special Merge VR headset. Since the launch of the Merge Cube in 2017, we've seen a definite shift towards education. So let's take a look at the top 5 educational apps for the Merge Cube.
Now, this way you can always explore the idea of teaching, 3D museum wear and other things, so as a part of learning. And this is how the children make use of the Merge Cube as a part of learning. You can see how creative they are in utilizing this as a part of their learning module. This can be a fun activity in your IT classroom, when we talk about the applications of computers in a big way. And that works wonders with the definition, with the connect, with the curiosity. So with one large cube, with their different devices, they can explore it, and interact with the learning in a big way. And these are some of the apps available, and of course some are free, some are paid, so you can always get to know. Party gaming for Merge Cubes, Mr. Body, then we have Cube Paint, Dino Digger, Mystical Moon, Polo Globe, Elemental Order, Wobble Gobble, Rubik Cubes Augmented, Things for Merge Cube, Dig for Merge Cube, Astronomy, My Aquarium. So these are some of the apps available, and of course you can help out getting to know more. When we talk about integrated approach, there comes the priority of ICT implementation also. How we are going to be defining the very structure of coding and programming through connect, concept, coding, contemplating, and continuing. So many of the moments we need to even talk about the application of the programs or the little project work which probably the children undertake in the classroom. Then we have a little mention of IoT projects for smart houses, offices, industries, that has been integrated in the artificial intelligence syllabus also. So many of the computer teachers have been instructed to follow that. So try to encapsulate that. Then, of course, Python programming is again a little reference for the children at the level of the primary level also. So where they are taught about input output statements and their relevance with the chatbots or the artificial intelligence approach. The students may connect it with AI and robotics, publish the review and research solutions as a part of their platforms, which include blogit.com or wikipedia.com, and that comes with the very relative notion and the encouragement from none other but Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, who says, all my friends who have younger siblings who are going to college or high school, you know, my number one piece of advice is you should learn how to program. So as teachers now, with the post corona world, we are more important, we are more regarded, we are more recognized as educators of the new age, and hence teaching them coding is a priority. And then, of course, the assessment of the learning, how and what way they do, is again a priority. So there is no right age for coding or learning to code. But like most of the things startup help, of course, an early exposure of age 5 and above is recommended for the children to be taught programming skills. And this, of course, comes with the later stage of computer science. And that classes can have many of the features which I'll be sharing in another 5 minutes, where they should start learning coding and web development. Of course, we have been teaching HTML code and other things. So now that has taken a view of online real-time teaching in a big way. So gone are the days for HTML coding, but for sure there are free resources available where you can even teach them web development. And next time, probably we are looking and revising the courses. So we need to be prepared. Also on the move is a website like that of Code Academy is the biggest and the most beginner-friendly coding platform worldwide. So you can learn and explore it in your classroom and let your children learn about it. Then Free Code Camp is another one popular platform. Free Code Camp is one of the most important platforms available where you can learn free coding. And of course, learning is a continuous process even for the teachers today. So of course, we can even have a wonderful like-minded group on the Facebook as they have it for the Free Code Camp. And then of course they can organize and relate some programming context in that way. Then Udacity is a place that always answered for more difficult questions. Introduction to Computer Science course on Udacity. As teachers, we can always explore it to teach the best way of writing codes and creating more efficient programs. As I said, the world of information technology is growing every 6 months, and as teachers, we do have no option but to learn with the march. Udemy is a good take if you are ready to shell out some pennies, and there are free courses also available. And then for sure, even Bill Gates says that learning to write programs stretches your mind and helps you think better. So when you're teaching, remember, you are learning at the same time. As a teacher, even as a computer teacher myself, every time I was, giving them assignments for programming, even if it is in a simplest of the language like that of Logo or computer or basic programming, for example, it was more like a defined approach where the context was that every program, I gave them to answer. They came up with different logic, and that logic even I did not know. I came out when I was doing corrections, and that you people must be also figuring out on the move that how you're going to do. So learning to write programs stretches your mind and helps think better. Of course, creates a way of thinking about things that I think is helpful in all domains. So that's of course a path that works for you. So we need to understand that programming language needs to be taught to our children, and how you're going to be defining it, of course, with the platform available online till the children come back to our physical classrooms. You have no notion but to arrange them. If you know how to read, you can learn how to code. To motivate children, there are many incidences where parents complain that my children, they don't know programming. हमें नहीं आता, उनको भी नहीं आता. You can't be expecting this like this all the time. So we need to understand the
There's some technical snag. I think the speaker will be back soon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll just come back with the sharing of the screen. Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about the very programming constructs. When we are teaching, we need to look forward to that very identity also, about the very reference. And when we say that, we need to understand the very approach, how we are going to be delivering the idea, the notion, the connect, and debugging. Debugging is so very important when we relate to learning in the classroom, teaching in the classroom, and asking them to, repeatedly execute their programs. Now that execution goes with the relative context of whatever platform they are using, you know. So as a teacher, I do guarantee that the moment, these programming languages platforms are reintroduced in the classrooms, there is a chance that we will have to start from the primary level as well. So please be dependent on yourself and on your learning, and try to gather these programming skills on the move. And of course, it's good for you when next time you get a syllabus to teach. So these are some of the platforms where you need competency on the move, and try to get some knowledge about this so that the basics are clear. And when the children are given that preference, we as teachers need to be revisiting our knowledge and developing. So please try to get some idea about these programming languages which are available on your screen, because this is how the very basic has to be undertaken. As far as the Scratch is concerned, I know a majority of you must be teaching the Scratch environment with the very perfection. So please look out for the latest version of what way you are defining and exploring, and emphasizing that the Scratch is real coding, real code allowed, use implicit and explicit variables, add sound blocks to the code while you're teaching Scratch, contrast set and change blocks, even use the and the wait blocks. Let the students write bad code for sure, then they will learn how to be better coding, or better coder. Then predict the output of the code. Tell them that you might get something like this. Find and fix a bug in the code. So debugging, as I've told you, is so very important. And then arranging the code segments, solving the problems by hand, and looking forward, creating a portfolio and writing a modified code. As we know, the Scratch comes with a wonderful basic and a logic to define. So that needs to be explored with the visual programming module. Practice as much as you can with the MIT Media Lab, and that can be defined. And the children also love it with colorful screens and colorful added advantage. That can be done through scratch.mit.edu/about. So always on a lookout of how best you're going to be teaching it with interactive stories and the approach. Scratch for educators, of course, it is interactive with the stories and the animations and the games. So that can be brought in as a feedback all the time. And even, you can always engage the parents, because this is self-learning mode. So they can even help you assist execution of the programs in the best of the possible manner. Right. And then I just want to thank you all for making Scratch and providing it for free. My kids are doing amazing things that they feel, they see as fun, yet I know is educational, valuable, and worthwhile. Thank you so much. So that comes the curiosity for the Scratch team has received many emails from youth, the parents, and the educators expressing thanks for Scratch. And for sure, we can visit their website and get to know more. Also on the move is a defined Python platform. So you can always execute that as a part of learning by going to python.org/shell, and a little bit of computer science execution of the programs with challenges can be talked as a teaching pedagogy. The pedagogy or the reflection or the idea of your framing of your lesson plans and teaching them about statements, commands, operators, and functions all relate to learning as a priority. So don't take it just for granted. We need to work on the move. We need to also teach them about 3D design, and that reflection has to come up with a platform like that of tinkercad.com. So visit this website, tinkercad.com, tinkercad.com. It's a wonderful platform where children can be taught about 3D, and then they can take a printout through their 3D printers, which are available in schools now. So it's an easy to use 3D design, electronics, and coding. It can be used by teachers, kids, and even the hobbyists and designers to imagine, redesign, or make anything. So this is a platform I wanted to share. Also on the move is you can even design your free lesson plans through Tinkercad, the Tinkercad website, and reflect on the idea, which is to design, to simulate, and design the code. Then that is an add-on. We can help out with the very reflection. And then, of course, the MIT Map App Inventor. And I also mentioned about the App Geyser. So either way, you can work on these tutorials using the MIT App Inventor. And then MIT App Inventor comes with a very, very simple way of, teaching apps through getting ready to teach with app programming. development, and it's easy to follow the resources setting up. So these are some of the platforms where the children can be taught about. Then the circuit stimulator, then we have web designing. So one very thing which I wanted to tell you is about the codedragon.com, which is a wonderful free browser based application that provides children the easy drag and drop code, just like Scratch. And it is very much similar to Scratch programming, works with huge focus on simplifying the learning. And with that notion, of course, Track Dragon for schools come with a very priority. And finally, I wanted to tell about codedragon.org, which is again a very clear platform for learning and comes with a priority. So as teachers, as learners, we need to come out with that fragrance of learning as a priority, and coming to the very structure of how best I'm going to be connected with my students in the classroom, and relating to learning as a priority. For sure, there is always a spectrum that I have to be, prepared in the classroom, and that preparedness comes with the very pedagogy we are going to be defining as an educator, as an ICT trainer, or I call it a computer teacher in layman's point of view. But that teacher has to be innovative, creative, and prepared in the classroom. That's so very important. So with this, I wanted to say thanks to all of you, all who have, been in touch. Sashi Dubey, Nivedita Bora, then RB Gaming, Nikhat Kasim, then Sanchita Datta. Thank you very much. Sangeeta Shrivastava, Paulus Lakra, Hemant Kumar, Benjamin. Thank you very much. And I'm sure you're learning great. Purnima Singh, then Hari Shankar Singh, Prashmu KP. Thank you very much. Sunita Singh, Anita Yadav, Sana Asif, Anita Yadav, then Amrita Sen Gupta. Of course, that's great of you to be, with us today. And I'm really excited to be a party today at this platform. Thank you very much, DT Nurture, for this platform and the opportunity. Thank you, Urja team, for this wonderful share and wonderful initiative. So thank you very much. This is all from my end. God bless everybody, and enjoy the learning as a priority for being an effective teacher. Thank you.